If you're having a hard time putting a gas stock on your VFC 416A5, this video is for you. Story time. Polar Star and Wolverine have their own line of gas stocks that work with HPA engines. The two main ways to mount the gas stocks onto the Airsoft replica has been to either use a TM spec stock, not this one, but the traditional TM spec looking stock that has the little tail on it, or real spec AR-15 threads. But not every single company is going to do that. So originally, when the 416A5 came out, it had real spec threads, which would be 16G thread pitch, and that works. And you can take a real spec buffer tube, and it would just screw in, and you had a very easy mounting solution. But somewhere down the line in production, the newer 416A5s being produced by VFC, they're not using those threads. They're using a metric thread that is 1.25 millimeter thread pitch, and you cannot put on a real spec buffer tube, and you can't put on a TM spec buffer tube. You can only use the buffer tube that comes with it. So when you're doing a gas stock, this can prove to be very challenging. I've been trying to find some trend to help me ID whether or not we have a newer or an older 416A5 receiver just by looking at it. You really have to take it apart and check it, unfortunately. So that raises a question, what options do we have for actually mounting a gas stock on the newer production 416A5s? Well, I whipped out the CAD program and I went ahead and I made a 3D printed model of an adapter that would thread into these metric threads that would allow you to install the TM spec gas stock. Now, just because I have 3D printers and I have 3D printed products, that does not mean that I make 3D printing my entire personality. There are a couple of customer guns that I have finished that are on a team that I sponsor, the MSW Grommets. Part of that sponsorship agreement is that they agreed to test out prototype stuff. So there are a couple of the 3D printed adapters out there, not this orange PLA one, but slightly nicer plastic. They haven't failed. They're pretty reliable as 3D printed parts. However, I wanted a product that I could kind of trust airsofters to not do anything dangerous with. And considering that there's a lot of pressure in this line, and this is a part that's mounting the stock onto the replica, depending on how people have their slings, how they might be flexing their replica when they're playing, or if it's sitting in their hot car, the last thing I want is for the piece of plastic to get warm and start, mushing, or for any failure to happen there that would cause all this air to spew out, because that could be a little dangerous. So the AntTech 416A5 gas stock adapter, these will be sold as a CNC machined aluminum product. And the reason for that is this is not going to melt in your hot car in July. And you don't really have to question whether or not today's the day that your gas stock's gonna fall off your Airsoft replica. These are 100% US made. I designed them and prototyped them myself in the US. And I actually worked with a CNC shop, a small mom and pop CNC shop, machine shop that's actually really close to Zulu 24 Airsoft, Custom Machining Co. Inc. And they're a good group of guys. They really know what they're doing. I was able to give them technical drawings, and this product right here is the opening of a relationship where we may see more CNC parts coming from AntTech in the future. So I saw the machines that these get made on. I've seen their production. I've seen the other things that they make for some of their other clients. And I even met the machinist that made this. Again, it's a small ma and pa machine shop, and they are a bunch of really good guys. And it's nice to know that this is being made by somebody who's actually getting paid. So with this adapter, essentially what you're gonna have is something that you can thread onto the newer production 416A5 stocks. If you over insert it, There's a chance it might get in the way of your upper receiver from getting on, but if you look at it, pretty much if you get it flush, you're pretty good to go. It can even not be completely flush with the outside and not cause a big problem, because once you put your sling plate on there and your stock rail end plate, it covers up that gap. So once this is threaded in, that grub screw comes down on the top and it locks it in that ridge. And then you have a really solid mounting platform for a TM spec gas stock, whether that's the Polar Star one or the Wolverine one. Now available at AntTechAirsoft.com. Guys, thank you for watching. That's all I got. Good night. God bless. I'm out.